Bye, folks. I call the meeting of the Ferrysburg City Council to order for Monday, June 19th, 2023, 7 p.m., Ferrysburg City Hall, Ridge Avenue, Ferrysburg. Roll call.
Mayor Blease, Mayor Pro Tem O'Donnell,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson,
Here.
Councilmember Montgomery,
Here.
Councilmember Sias,
Here.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Here.
Councilmember Kate.
Your Honor. Yes. I move that we excuse the mayor, and Councilman Bill Kate. Okay, we have a motion.
Support.
Support. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Moment of silence. Please stand for the pledge. Moment of silence. At this time, we'll take public comments. This is time on the agenda for any citizen to direct brief comments and questions to the city council, to the mayor. Time for public comments will be given on the agenda item as discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand and be recognized by the mayor. And after being recognized, please give your name and your address of record and proceed with your comment or questions. Please limit to 3 minutes. Roger.
Roger Jonas, 16038 Harbor Point Drive. I've lived there for 42 years. I'm in a rut, but I love it. And we have new neighbors, but we're still the older people in the neighborhood. Anyway, here for a couple of reasons. I thought the sheriff was going to be here tonight. I used my personal protection that I have. It's part of their new Elder Watch program they have. No, kidding. Anyway, I hope he shows up. Because I'm looking forward to that. But a couple things you have on your agenda regarding Planning Commission. Mr. Carlson can answer those. I did want to point out, though, this is the year that we have to update our master plan. It's by statute every 5 years we have to do it. And the last time was 2018, so that we fix it this year. There'll be a lot of time for public input on that, and we hope to get it, especially to have the Economic Development Task Force. Kate came through with theirs. Now you got the reconstituted Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and that's going to, in my opinion, tie in to a lot of those things going on. So we expect some lively input and look forward to that, and I'll certainly be around to help any way I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Oh, and Roger, just wanted to let you know you're an inspiration for me to go on and get my Master Citizen Planner. So appreciate your service. Yes.
Hi, Jody Buttery, at 523 South Felder in Grand Haven, but I'm representing, which is at Ferry Street Bridge. So I am here, and thank you, to talk about our free community health clinic. Where we are is just over the bridge behind the block of Home Depot, right on Ferry Street there, and we serve the Tri-City, so and beyond for our health clinic. So who we serve are people who are uninsured and underinsured, and that includes the business that does not have health insurance, somebody who is working for an employer that does not have health insurance, somebody that's in transition, somebody between jobs. We are here to serve the community Care Safety Net Clinic. And not that many people know about us. So we are part of Love in Action as a whole. Love in Action, Love Inc. Love in Action here. And what we do is we have a free health clinic and we have a free dental clinic. Our free health clinic is staffed by a nurse practitioner Monday and Wednesdays, and then we see people for urgent care or primary care services. And what I'm here for tonight is just to get the word out, to let you know, to ask if you would, which if you visit our clinic, that you can come and get to know this Tri-City resource better. So far, I've been to 3 city councils and nobody's come, so you might get a prize if you come. And would love to see you. And then also, if you know of businesses or places that we could put this out, we love that. Here for the community going, and there's been so.
Dottie? I'm sorry, Jody.
Yeah.
I appreciate your service. It's very, very much needed. I'm a EMT, and I work for Trinity Health. And I see a lot of people low income, no income, and a lot of people refuse to go in because they can't afford it. So if I could get a card from you or some information from you, I'd appreciate it. So I can give the resources to these people. I'm always looking for ways to help people that can't get help. So.
And it is for, like, a lot of people are lower income, which it definitely is, but it is also for our business. I really appreciate it.
Not used to this, so can you hear me okay? Okay. My name is Sandra Way. I live at 16860 Virginia Avenue next to Jean Street that was never developed and is an eyesore, mosquito invested, countless shrub trees, which I have pictures of, and never drained ditch. Now, it doesn't drain because it's like this, and where the tube is that goes into the road is higher, so it can't drain. Oops. Okay, in 2021, our neighbors and I signed a request to have a drainage tube stand that is available from Ferrysburg North Park on Lake Michigan that they take off. And if they would add topsoil and grass seed, my neighbors, Paul and Sarah Peacocks, that live on the other side, we both are in each side of Jean Street in the dish. We have both said that we would take care of and cut the grass, take care of this so there'd be no future cost to the city to keep coming every year and draining it and cutting it down. The city spent $68,000, I was told, to fix the issue on Mary Street this year. Our issue will be a drop in the bucket compared to that. This will be a win-win solution for all of us. I sincerely pray that you will see that this is done as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I do have a couple pictures of how it looks right now. Oh, I forgot to return Paul. Okay. They just sent it to me an hour ago. Hi, Sandy. Neither Paul nor I will be able to make the meeting, but we definitely support you. Having an unfilled ditch encourages weed and tree growth in our yard that we are constantly dealing with, as well as looking unsightly. When it rains, the water sits and breeds mosquitoes. It doesn't drain like it is supposed to. We are more than happy to help maintain the grass once a ditch is filled. Filling the ditches is an overall solution. It solves our problems as well, negating the city's need to continually maintain and keep it up. Thank you, Paul and Sarah.
Craig, can we get that, our DPW take a look at that and address that issue? Okay. We'll have our, yes. We'll have the DPW, we'll have the DPW, our Department of Public Works. Yes, sure, certainly. I'm just letting you know, somebody from the Department of Public Works will come out and take a look at it, and we'll get some recommendations on eliminating that problem if it's possible.
Just Thank you.
You. Okay, now, sure.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Mike Westbrook, 423 Lafayette. I'm the chairman of the Board of Light and Power for the City of Grand Haven. I feel like I'm becoming a regular here at the Ferrysburg City Council, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I don't want to commandeer too much of your time, but I want to just take a moment to share a few updates about your local-owned municipal electrical provider. I understand your council will hear a presentation later tonight, this evening, regarding the city charter change. If approved this November, this amendment would dissolve the voter-elected Board of Light and Power and replace the electrical utility solely under the control of Grand Haven City Charter or City Council. It is first important to understand that the Board of Light and Power is a technical body with the immensely important goal of providing reliable electrical service at the lowest possible cost to the people of the Grand Haven area, including the city of Ferrysburg. The BLP is not a political body. We are nonpartisan, and frankly, we never have been. The BLP is elected to 6-year terms for a reason. It can take years to understand the extreme complex nature of an electric utility. You can't learn that in just a couple of years or a recent appointment. Each Grand Haven mayor has a 2-year term, which is why, by its very nature, City Council can become somewhat political, something that all boards experience. When ratepayers turn on the lights, they expect the lights to come on. They expect heat to come on when they turn on the furnace in the winter. These are basic and incredibly important needs that we all share, and it is not something we should play politics with. It is also important to note that no risk analysis has been done on what may happen if the Grand Haven Light and Power is dissolved. The organization spearheading this charter amendment has presented no hard data or research on exactly what could happen. The reason no data has been presented is simple. It's because there is no knowledge of any public utility that has ever dissolved a municipal government or municipal electrical utility, according to the president of the American Public Power Power Association. We reached out to her. She's never heard of one. This would be a first. We would be on uncharted waters, and I'm not sure if that's where we all want to be. But here's what we do know. Reliability at the Grand Haven Board of Light and Power has increased substantially over the years to the point that it is now one of the most reliable power utilities, public power utilities in the nation, diamond rated by the APPA, which is excellent. That is something we can all be proud of. The BLP is performing significantly better than both state and national averages when it comes to outage tracking, restoration, and overall system reliability. And we've been doing tons of things to upgrade our transmission system with our capital improvement plan. The BLP has improved its reliability while decreasing its rates several times over the last 6 years. In fact, we just approved the 2023 budget, and we actually decreased our budget. I mean, it was a sliver, it wasn't much. But we actually decreased in a time of high inflation, which is something I know all of you are dealing with. How do we make ends meet when prices are going up? And we actually lowered our budget this year. Again, there's absolutely no telling what would happen to ratepayers' electrical bills if this were approved. Unknown. It's also important to understand that the BLP is a community-owned and locally controlled utility. What this means is that money in our budget is not our money, it's our ratepayers' money. Injecting any form of politics into a utility that is providing reliable, affordable, and sustainable service to our region seems kind of foolish to me. I want to thank you again for letting Dave and I come out and talk to you at our last meeting. I know we had some good discussion. For opportunities for Ferrysburg to have a stronger voice on the board. I think that, we haven't had a lot of input from you guys, but if you've got in the past about concerns or issues, but you want to have a voice, let's talk about how to make that happen. When I'm setting the agenda this month on June 29th, we plan to have a discussion regarding opportunities for our local municipalities to have a voice on the board, a stronger voice than just public comment. So all of you are welcome to attend. On June 29th, I know it's summertime, everybody's got busy schedules, but if you want to send information or correspondence in advance, I'm happy to include it in the packet. And I thank you for your time tonight.
Question for you. What time on the 29th?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.?
6 p.m.
Okay.
Yep. Public comment happens at the beginning and the end, so maybe, if you wanted to, we could put it early on the agenda so you don't have to stay for the whole thing.
Thank you. Okay. Sure. Just these any other public comments? See none, we'll close public comments. Move on to number 6, consent agenda. Consideration for approval of the consent agenda. A, approve the June 5th, 2023 council meeting minutes as printed. Do I have a motion? So moved.
Support.
We have a motion, support, discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. New business. Sheriff Kemper sent a message that he would not be able to attend tonight's meeting, so we will not discuss item A, which was a presentation by the sheriff. I did get to talk to him, and he did the presentation with the city, or with the Board of Commissioners for the county, and he got to talk about 1 o'clock in the morning too. But it was a good presentation. But hopefully we'll get in the future. B, presentation from Field Reichert. Is it Reichert? Okay.
Actually, I did notice in your packet that there is the report from the sheriff, and we are extremely lucky in this county to have somebody of his caliber as our sheriff. I hope that you'll take the time to take a look at it. Mr. O'Donnell and Craig, thank you very much for making it possible to speak with you all this evening. I want to talk to you about the BLP Charter Change Coalition.
Before we get into I'm sorry. We need your name and address, please.
I thought you had it. It's Field Reichert. I live at 1053 Ohio Avenue in Grand Haven. Incidentally, I used to live right around the corner over here in this condominium. Did that for 3 years. I want to talk to you about the BLP Charter Change Coalition and the change to the city charter in Grand Haven to rationalize our electric utility. The issue affects Ferrysburg as well as Grand Haven. At the end of my comments, I would be pleased to respond to any questions you may have. I understand representatives of BOP have spoken to you several times, including this evening. I hope I can clarify some of the issues and misunderstandings exist. Some background for you. The current electric utility was created as a city department of Grand Haven in 1896. The 1959 city charter kept its status as a department when Grand Haven was preparing to open the Sims coal-power generating plant on Harbor Island. Incidentally, there was a vote on the charter in 1957, which made the Board of Light and Power completely independent. The voters voted that down. In '59, they did pass the charter, which added that unlike any other city department, the electric utility department would operate under the control and direction of a newly created board. Unfortunately, potential for conflict was baked into the 1959 charter language, since the language establishes a city department that is not directly under the control and direction of the city. Nevertheless, even with the possibility there might be conflict, the BOP and the city operated amicably and cooperatively for many, many years. But the relationship began to change with the closure and demolition of the Sims complex. At that time, and with little public input, the BLP insisted on building a new gas-fired power plant and office building on Harbor Island, even though the island was flooded at the time, and the plant would only operate 5 to 10% of the time. The Grand Haven Council stopped the unpopular plan by refusing to authorize the bonds for it. Today, the BLP is no longer both a power producing and power distributing organization. It is now solely a distributing organization. Its workforce has shrunk from 72 on its staff in 2017 to 40 today. One of the reasons for the proposed charter amendment is to correct the current adversarial relationship between Grand Haven city government and the administration of the electric utility. Under its own control and direction, but with ratepayers' money, it has hired a public relations firm, which no other department has, for $7,650 a month, and hired its own attorney. Other departments use the city attorney. Its public meetings have at times been professional. It has frustrated the city, Eagle, and most ratepayers by its refusal to cooperate in cleaning up Harbor Island. The health of Harbor Island should be very important to Ferrysburg. Incidentally, tomorrow night, HDR, which is a firm that has been hired by the city of Grand Haven to do significant studies on Harbor Island, is doing a report to the Grand Haven City Council. I understand they're going to have some bad news, but you might want to do it on Zoom. I assume you are aware, as in the case of the BLP using Ferrysburg ratepayer funds to pay for some of the snowmelt system in downtown Grand Haven. Ratepayers here are also helping pay for the expensive PR campaign to oppose our citizen effort. We expect we will be outspent by about 10. The charter amendment would make the utility a true city department. It would have the director report to the city manager. It would have a member of the city council attend all meetings with a vote. And it would add representation for Ferrysburg and the town customers. We looked at 9 different cities in western Michigan that have municipal power programs. The one that we found that had a representative for the areas outside of the city was Traverse City. So we basically have copied that proposal. So Ferrysburg and the townships would have a representative on the BLP with a vote. In addition to what I've told you, there are more reasons to support the proposed charter amendment. Here are a few. To reduce the size of government. Today, the BLP is no longer both a power producing and power distributing organization. It's now solely a distributing organization. Again, its workforce has shrunk from 72 on staff in 2017 to 40 today. As with other infrastructure departments of a city, it does not need to be on its own. The BLP is one of very few, if not the only, municipal electric utility in the state that sets its own rates. and fees. With the charter amendment, there will be a two-step process with significant public input to change rates and fees. Ferrysburg and the townships will have a say in rate and fee changes, as they will have a representative on the advisory commission, which would hold at least one hearing and then would advise the Grand Haven Council on any needed fee or rate changes. The council, as with other cities, will make the final decision after added citizen input, just as they do now with water and sewer rates. Citizens would have a say in two hearings, one with the advisory commission and one with the city. Right now, just as in the recent fee increase, which you will see in your next bill, changes are quite opaque. That will change with the charter. There would be significantly improved liaison between the city government and the utility. As with other city infrastructure departments, it would have the director report to the city manager, who in turn reports to the city council. It would have a member of the council as a voting member of the new advisory commission. Very importantly, as I've said before, Ferrysburg and the neighboring townships would also have a voting member on the commission. Finally, the Grand Haven manager would be an ex officio, non-voting member of the advisory commission. The new advisory commission would initially have all the current members of the BLP serve for the balance of their term, great during a transitional period. As time goes on, the commission would transition to an entity with a number of technically skilled appointed individuals to help our area become a model as American society transitions in our electrical supply. And here's some things which will be staying if the amendment passes. Current employees, all of them, will continue to work for the new department. The excellent line crews and customer service team will all stay with their current pay and benefits. The current system financial reserves would be maintained for environmental remediation, for capital improvements, for bond debt service. It is in plain English in the proposed amendment. As with other city infrastructure departments, revenues in the new city Department of Energy Services would not be used for city non-system purposes. Right now, 5% of BLP revenues are paid to Grand Haven, which owns the utility, in lieu of taxes. That will continue. Overall, the focus of the proposed charter amendment is to maintain the strong service orientation of our electric utility while readjusting the utilities administration's relationship with its ratepayers and local governments. Grand Haven has proven through its capable management of our other infrastructure departments that this transition would not have a negative impact on the service we all appreciate. It will likely improve it. For additional information, I ask that you take a look at our website, and I will actually email all of you this evening with the link to our website. And the best thing to take a look at there is the frequently asked questions. We really have gone into detail about what this thing does. But even this is the thing I want to just basically say. We are here just to give you some information. You've heard from the BLP now 3 or 4 times, and we felt it was important. Also, come and speak with you. Would very much appreciate any questions you might have. Gary?
Where do you see Harbor Island in 10 years? I mean, what's your initiative out there?
I think one of the really great things that's happened is that the city has basically taken on the responsibility of really trying to figure that out. HDR is giving a report tomorrow night. I clearly am not a visionary of what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a major, major problem that the city of Grand Haven is going to have to deal with. I just am hoping that we can also get some significant state funds and federal funds to deal with it. I think the report, which is coming tomorrow, may have some very unfortunate news about what's in the soil there that they. I can't answer your question, Jerry. I would.
It's a little early, I understand. I was just wondering if there's anything in the works or
Sure.
think tank.
Sure.
Yep.
there anything specifically in the charter amendment that states that the city cannot use any ratepayer funds outside of that 5%?
Yes. I can tell you that. It's chapter 14, section 4 in the charter amendment specifically says that the reserve funds will be kept. There's another interesting question that a lot of people are saying is that this is a big effort to sell the utility to Consumers Power or to some other electrical utility. In fact, the only way it could be sold would be if 60% of the voters of the city of Grand Haven were agreed to sell it, and I don't think that will ever.
Will appoint their successors. How is Grand Haven Council qualified to pick people to serve on the board?
I think they would have to go through a process like they do when they recently appointed Kurt Knopf to the board, where people came in, made presentations, presented their backgrounds and so forth, and then the council made a selection. But let me ask you this question. Do you know who you are voting for when you vote for the Wayne State University Board of Trustees?
I will when that election comes up and I research it.
Good. Well, most people don't, and it's very, very difficult to know who the folks are that are running for the BLP. We do tend to know who's running for mayor and running for the city council. There's an opportunity, but I think they clearly proved when they appointed Mr. Knopf to the board that they went through quite a process, and I think a responsible council would probably do the same thing.
We've had issues in the city of Ferrysburg of our city council ignoring recommendations from boards. Do you see that being an issue?
Well,
as an advisory board, they can make a recommendation, but at the end of the day, it's up to the city council. If they choose to go against that, there's nothing stopping them.
We've very specifically put some responsibilities for that advisory board in the charter amendment. I would urge you to take a look at that. And the other thing that I would add is that a city council member will be a member, and the city manager will be an ex officio member. So there will be a pretty close relationship between the board and this advisory commission and the city council.
Right, but what assurances do we have as residents of Ferrysburg that the city council of Grand Haven will act in the best interest of Ferrysburg? I'm not saying we have that now, but I'm asking.
I think that the fact that you will have a representative with a vote on that board will have quite a bit of impact, and I can't.
But a vote to make a recommendation, not a vote to make a change.
It's to make a recommendation, but the city will hold very public hearings. The city will also have public hearings, and if people don't like what the recommendations have been, they clearly have the ability to say so.
I have a problem with the Grand Haven City Council making decision about my utility company. I've been a customer for 29 years. I am not unhappy at all. And I know our rates are less than consumers. I don't see the reason for a change personally.
That's fine. I do think that one of the things that all of us feel, and we've made it clear, that the people that are currently the employees of the BLP will continue. Service people, the line crews will continue. Everybody, every employee, including the senior management of the BLP, will transition over to the city control. They will, however, be like the water department, sewer department, a function of the city. And in terms of the technical concerns that Mr. Westbrook raised, clearly there will be a need to have very qualified people that are technically skilled. And incidentally, I want to point out, we are the only city that we were able to find in the state. There are 22 municipal electric utilities. We're the only one that can set their own rates without a whole lot of input from the city. Yes, they've lowered the rates, but are you aware? Are you aware of the fee that's being added to your bill this month? I don't think
Another
very many-
reason I'm not real impressed with Grand Haven Council, because we are now paying their debt.
No, you're not. No.
Not for
you're not
the
paying
ice
citizens.
melt?
Oh, well,
We're paying for that.
through the Board of Light and Power, yes, you are. But that was a decision that they made. And you are now also paying for their public relations. And which I think is
You say, the purpose of this initiative is to create smaller government.
Yeah.
But I see you creating more bureaucracy. I mean, with the council, with the committee now being a non-political council, how do you see this making less government?
Well, it firstly consolidates everything into city government control. Right now, there's an independent bureaucracy at the BLP. As time goes on, perhaps things such as the billings, the customer service can be consolidated into one department. We don't, right now, I think the BLP is the one that's making for the larger government, not this amendment.
What,
But yeah, when you start creating committees and council, I mean, it's just, you're creating more bureaucracy,
right
more
now-
issues for people to deal with, and in my opinion.
It's better to have input from the public than to have things done quite quietly. And right now, they're done quite quietly. Did you? It's been interesting that the BLP has been coming to you recently to talk to you about ways that you can participate more actively. I think they maybe are doing that because of this pressure that you actually will have somebody.
I think the BLP came because we invited them, as we've had concerned citizens that are concerned with the way things are moving as far as ratepayers paying for things in Grand Haven that are not related to Ferrysburg and are not related to our utility. When you send us that email, will you include a draft of the charter?
It's right on our website.
Okay, thank you.
There's the chart. It's interesting. The charter amendment is there, and then there is a narrative right next to it that kind of goes through, cuts out a whole lot of the stuff, and you can look in detail at what's going on without taking.
But the full charter is there?
Full charter is there.
Proposed?
Yep.
Thank you.
Full chart is there. Includes everything that you need to look at.
Mother had a saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Well, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Carlson.
Field, when you were talking, you had made mention that the relationship changed during the Sims plant deconstruction.
Right.
And that's about the same time that we have a certain amount of Ferrysburg residents that are now paying for your snowmelt system. Yeah. So anyway, my overall concern isn't the $5 a month or whatever the hell they're doing for 18 months. My concern is that you've got two pools of pollution out there. One that's the cities from your old dump, and then the BLP where they had their operations and power plant. And are you gonna, how much are you gonna cost shift the Ferrysburg customers and several neighboring townships into funding that? And then secondly, knowing the financial situation of the city, which if you folks didn't look at, there was the meeting, I think it was in April, held out at North Beach or KLH, somewhere out there. And a city council member from Grand Haven was there and was detailing in the minutes, I wish I had them, how upside down the city is. So my concern is that if we have Field, okay, my concern is that We have two sources of pollution. Are they being isolated, and are you gonna be cost shifting and saying, it's all the cities now, because it's all under the city's control, and we're saddled with Lord knows what? Because I don't believe that this surcharge or whatever for your capital improvement in your city is even legal, let alone what you guys have got up your sleeve. The BLP is ultra highly rated. We have extremely high reliability. I have seen nothing about what you're gonna do to bring any type of improvement to the table. It sounds like you've got numerous department heads that have lost the city over there. You got a 28-year-old city manager. Please, tell me some good news.
That's an interesting sort of undercurrent message, is the age and competence of our city manager. I happen to think she's quite good. And the issue
She may be.
The issue of the pollution on the island, that's one of the things that HDR is working on right now, is to identify where the pollution is. When I was a kid, I don't know if you lived here when the city dump was still out there, but I remember going out with my father on Saturday mornings and dumping frightening stuff out there, as were many, many people. So, and the other thing is that it's an island, and there's a flow of water under the island. It's a very fluid place. Pollution has spread all over. Yes, I agree that the BLP had some specific responsibility for the coal waste, and that's a part of it. But we don't know where all of it is. I think maybe we'll be finding out. That's what this study is underway for, and we don't know. And the other issue is clearly the city of Grand Haven is going to be responsible for that. Also, the BLP has set aside funds for environmental cleanup. So, that's a good.
In the information that you're gonna be emailing us, is that part of it? The city is gonna be responsible for that?
Well, let me read this to you. The charter amendment at section 14.4 maintains electric utility reserve funds which exist on the effective date of the charter amendment shall be maintained for the purpose of accumulating and holding funds for the protection, improvement, replacement, and extension of the city's electric utility. That includes their environmental fund that they have set aside. So, they have already committed to spend, I think it's $15–16 million that they're reserving, which is great. We don't know how much it's going to be. The city doesn't know what it's going to be. That's what's going on right now. It's hard to protect.
So nothing about Ferrysburg or some of the neighboring townships that are presently customers?
I don't see how you can be required to pay for I'm saying this as somebody that's not a technical expert, but I don't see how you can be expected to pay to clean up, more of her. Well, that was not.
It's the camel's nose under the tent.
Well, and right now, you have the same thing with them spending your money on their PR campaign. Their PR campaign, by the time they're done with it, will probably be $100,000, putting the fee to their very high quality public relations firm. And I happen to know the principal in that firm pretty well. They're very good.
Question, putting that in the hands of Grand Haven City Council and the city manager. I personally have met her, spent time with her. I would be uncomfortable having them make decisions about my power.
Well, thank you.
So it sounds to me they just want to have right now we have the electorate that can elect the members to the board, and they have a say on who gets on the board. It would take the power out of the electorate to appoint members. Is that correct?
What would happen is
it would go to the city.
over time, the 5 members of the board that will exist at the date of the election in November of this year will continue until the ends of their terms. One will go off in 2 years, 2 will go off in 4 years, and 2 more will go off in 6 years. So those people will continue to serve during the transitional time. The city council will appoint their successors when their terms end. And there will be an open process, just like I talked about a couple of minutes ago, where people will hear what they have to say and what their skill sets are. It will not be, appointing some good old boys or girls. Thank you for
sir.
the opportunity to, and I will be sending you the link to our website this evening. It will also have my name and phone number, and if you'd like to give me a call, I would appreciate it. But I just think you need to realize that there's going to be a lot of PR coming down in the coming months, and we're just a citizen group. We collected 619 signatures to put this on the ballot. We did it in 40 days. It's basically David versus Goliath, and we're. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, 7C, discussion and take action if appropriate for a special use permit and a site plan approval to construct an addition at 441 Carmen Drive pursuant to section 9.120E of the City of Ferrysburg zoning ordinance. I understand this was addressed by the Planning Commission, correct?
Indeed it
And
was.
approved, okay.
Definitely.
Can
Unanimously.
I get a motion? I'd like a motion to accept or deny this?
So moved.
So moved to accept.
Support.
Okay, got a motion support. Craig, can you give us a brief?
Sure. So Mr. Blacker has been operating a successful West Michigan towing at the end of Carmen Street in the city for a number of years. He wants to expand his business by adding an addition to his building. The Planning Commission had reviewed this. This is a special land use in that zone district. The Planning Commission reviewed the site plan. The site plan requirements require some landscaping on the property and some facade improvements. The Planning Commission reviewed those requirements and waived those requirements due to the location of the building. It's at the end of Carmen, right borders of Replank property, and made a recommendation for City Council to approve this contingent on the dumpster being screened, and that the lighting specs would be submitted to the city. The owner of the property has indicated he's willing to do those items, so we're ready to move forward with this.
Any discussion? Public? Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. 7D, introduction of ordinance number 330, an ordinance to amend the city code by amending charter 154 zoning to amend Article 3, general provisions to include a new section 3.370, outdoor service and dining. This is just an introduction, so I don't need a motion or support. Any discussion on this?
Wondering where they're going to put the outdoor seating.
Front of the building, between
In front,
the
on Pine Street.
Pine Street side, yes.
Okay.
Craig, would they be obstructing the sidewalk, or would it be in a grassy area?
It'd be towards the building, not on the sidewalk. And he has to submit a site plan to get approval to do this. So we'll go through the checklist in his ordinance to make sure that complies with everything he's proposing, complies with his ordinance. And he has kept the wheels moving and has submitted a site plan, which is under review at this time.
Connor?
Yes.
I'd just make sure that everybody saw the first page of this and that it is all encompassing on all 4 of those types of zoning. So in other words, it's not just special use for Pine Street. It's gonna pick up everything that fits in those boxes in that zoning. So Pizza Hut's covered, potential new breweries covered. Ms. Lisa's. Okay.
With additional site plans per property, right? I mean, yeah, okay. For approval, okay.
All right, going on to 7E, introduction of ordinance number 331, an ordinance to amend the city code by amending chapter 91, adding section 91-.07, an ordinance to regulate begging and soliciting in the city. Again, just introduction, no motion or support. Any questions? Okay. I do have actually two suggestions on here. If we just add under the solicitor, the words for themselves, the definition of solicitor means a person who solicits on behalf of the charitable or civic organization. I would like to just add in there for clarification for them or themselves or for a charitable organization or. Yep. Say that again. I would like to have it read, instead of the way it is currently printed, I would like to have it read, means a person who solicits for themselves or on behalf of a charitable or civic organization. Well, door to door, they would be soliciting on behalf of a charitable, so like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you know, churches, that sort of thing. Okay.
Correct.
D, number 4, it talks within 15 feet of any payphone. I don't know where there's even a payphone located anymore. So perhaps we could just remove that, and just so we don't have that old or outdated language in here. Other than that, I have no problems with it as written.
Honor, I'd like to ask Craig, is this going to help address the beggar that's at the end of the ramp?
This will give the sheriff's department another tool to.
I just don't know how he can be within so many feet of that dance studio. He's a sex offender. He shouldn't be allowed to be that close.
He's not.
According to this, you can't go into traffic and accost people, and he does, yes. So, and this is language that has been taken from other cities and that's stand the test of time, and so it shouldn't bring us any headaches in the future. It's good.
So is this saying that if Boy Scouts want to walk down the road and sell popcorn, they need a application through the city?
So typically, if they're selling something, we ask for a peddler's license so we can get the information on who's in town, what they're driving, and so forth. So we can contact the sheriff's department and they can be aware of this.
Fundraiser?
That's where the ordinance is, yes.
There's more to the peddlers.
That'd be for selling, not for soliciting.
This would be just an addition. Further discussion? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. 7F, discussion take action if appropriate to approve a bid from blank for the Roosevelt Road paving project. I did check with Amber, and we did get some information on our desk about the bids and the costs. And my question was, are we comparing apples to apples when we look at the bids? And I haven't had a lot of time to study this, but it does look like a pretty close. Nothing. Not a lot of difference except for the price. We get the same bang no matter for our buck, whatever we look at. Craig, does the city have a recommendation?
Yes. The low bid was from Anline Corporation. They've done work in the city in the past. They've done a nice job for us. I've been satisfied with what they have done for us, and the staff would recommend going with Anline Corporation. The city did budget $300,000 for this project. So with the bid that we got, it is very favorable to the city. We may look to add a little extra work into this different street project or something into this bid.
The improvement to the, it's now the back of City Hall?
The northern parking, yes.
Yeah, northern park.
And then it would extend the sidewalk along the north side of Roosevelt Road and it put a crosswalk in there for students from Walden and Montessori when they come over.
I'll make a motion to accept a bid from Analon Corporation for $269,150. Is that a 1 or a 7? $7.40 for the improvements to Roosevelt Road.
Support.
We have motion support, discussion?
Yeah, Craig, we've had work done by Anlon Corporation in the past.
Yes, we have.
Have they come in on budget or below budget on those projects?
Yes, I have.
Have we had issues where they've come in above budget?
No, we have not.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. The next section we're getting into is appointments to the boards and commissions. It's been a very interesting time since I've been on council. We've had a lot of board openings, and with these appointments, we're going to only have like 3 or 4 openings left. Board openings on the beautification committee. We just had a person just resign recently, and the construction board. We also had an abundance of people apply. I'm very, very happy to see that people getting involved in their community. And in the past, it's been you apply, we look at it, as long as you're not a you're able to come in and do the job, we're willing to do the work, we say okay. But now we have a chance to get people in there that are qualified. They're coming in with some really good qualifications. I got like to take a look here. The first 3 we're going to look at is the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals, as elected officials, we take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and Michigan and obey and follow the laws of our municipality. And the Zoning Board and the Planning are the only 2 of our boards that have statutory requirements for the people that apply. And the statutory requirements are they be an elector of the municipality, be able to represent a portion of the population, skills pertinent to the position, and make a decision without bias and without conflict of interest. We had 6 people apply for the 3 posts of the Planning Commission. 2 of them the applicants are reappointments. That leaves 1 opening. Of the remaining 4 people, 1 is appointed to the ZBA, and because of the incompatibility, can't have be on both planning and the ZBA. Well, I should say we can allow 1 person from the planning to represent on the ZBA. And we already have that with John Rifle. The others have to be, you can't be on both committees. That's been ruled by the Attorney General and other court cases. The remaining people, I keep saying his name wrong every time I say it. Stanley Stark applied for both. The mayor talked to him, and he was happy with either one. And since we got an opening, we need people on the zoning board. would allow him to, he's coming up for a nomination to the position on the zoning board. So that leaves two more people, and we look at their, and we want to choose the best person for the job, so we look at their qualifications. And this year, Roger Jonas is kind enough to remind us that we're looking at the master plan. So we need somebody that's knowledgeable on that. And I'm not saying anything about the board people not being knowledgeable, but when you got somebody who has a degree in geology and land use, as Dave Cook has, that's a very good plus in that direction.
I don't have those. I do not. I do not have Dave Cook.
Mine is like the last 2 pages. Stapled together.
Okay, we can share.
The primary responsibility of the planning commission, it states right in big bold letters at the beginning of in the act that talks about land use. And Dave Cook has 15 years experience in the public sector, held government positions in engineering, technology, finance, master's degree in business, geography, with coursework and projected experience in land use, planning, and mapping. Additionally, I've provided technical land use management services as a consultant, and he has other training and experience with looking at the other applicants don't have quite that much experience. Dave Cook has, I feel, the most experience and would be the best one for the board. So that's why he is on, has been chosen. I would like to start with item G, approve the mayor's appointment of Sandy Tuggle to the Planning Commission for a term ending July 1st, 2026. This is a reappointment. And I support the mayor's appointment to this board.
So moved.
Or
All in favor, say aye.
can we
Oh,
discussion?
wait a minute. What?
Is there a reason you keep saying there's one vacancy? Is there not 3 vacancies?
Well, there is.
Okay, so why would we not look at out of the however many candidates we have, why are we not looking at the 3 most qualified out of them?
Well, the three most qualified that are not appointed. Okay. So we got Sandy Tuggle. Let me get to my notes here. The people that
Your
apply-
Honor.
Yes.
Cutting right to the chase, Tuggle and Weber are incumbents, and they were recommended by the Planning Commission, and that's why they're incumbents, and that's why they're listed. Right?
Yes, and they also, I believe one is a school, or was a school teacher or associated with the board, and that is indeed a requirement by the state statute to have somebody on the board that could represent the interests of a school board. So that's why
Yeah, just asking.
Okay, got it. Okay. So any questions, discussions?
Is the candidate here tonight?
I don't.
Right, Dave Cook? Yeah.
So we'll go with, start out with,
Sure.
or do you want to
Sandy?
do all 3 of the planning commission together?
That's fine. You can do Dave Cook, or Sandy first.
Okay.
Your Honor, could I ask the Planning Commission, what were your recommendations for this time period? Did you have people that you were recommending for us to approve? The Planning Commission.
A planning commission unanimously approved Sandy Tuggle and Jordan Weber as incumbents
Okay.
to become reappointed. And in May of 2022, Planning Commission unanimously approved Jake Sturley. And we have reaffirmed that when we did Mrs. Tuggle and Mrs. Weber. Okay? Yep.
Also, put in, apply with an application? Okay, I don't have that one either. I'll check.
After looking at all the applications, decide to take the best one, or the more qualified of the remaining non-incumbents. Joan Lyons did apply. We have Sandy Tuggle, Jordan Weber, Jake Sturley, Dave Cook, Joe Lyons were the ones that applied for it. Joe Lyons is already on the ZBA, so he wishes to remain on the ZBA. Because of the incompatible offices, he would not be eligible for that. Jordan Weber and Tuggle are reappointments, which would leave Sturley and Cook. And Stark wants to be on the ZBA. And again, incompatible offices, you appoint him to the ZBA. So that would leave Sturley and Dave Cook. And looking at the qualifications, Dave Cook is by and large the more qualified. He actually has the training and the experience and exactly what we need, especially at this time when we're looking at our master plan. So that's the okay. So we can do these by. Would you like to do it by the
individually?
Do individually? All right. So G, approve the appointment of Sandy Tuggle. We have a motion of support for that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. I'm opposed. Unanimous. Item H, approve the mayor's appointment of Stanley, I'm sorry, I'm gonna change that. Dave Cook to the Planning Commission for the term ending July 1st, 2024. And I support the mayor's appointment.
Is he able to speak, Your Honor?
Dave?
Good evening. Questions about my application? Would like me to make a comment?
So, do you mind, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
I'm just curious what got you interested in the Planning Commission specifically.
The Planning Commission specifically, I applied last year.
Yeah.
There was a comment made during a council meeting that due to some of the rhetoric at the meetings, there wouldn't be any candidates qualified or willing to apply. Based on my experience and background, resident status of the city, I've grown up here, I've moved back since. That was my interest.
If we were to elect you tonight or select you for the Planning Commission tonight, how would you feel if later we ignored your recommendation from Planning Commission?
Can you repeat the question?
So if we were to select you for the Planning Commission tonight, and then as a member of the Planning Commission, you made a unanimous vote, how would you feel or react if this council were then to turn around and ignore that recommendation based on your expertise?
So your question, if I understand correctly, is how would I personally feel if you ignored the appointment of Jake Sturley and selected me?
Of any decision that you make as a planning commission or member of the Planning Commission?
Well, I would say that your commission appointment gives you that authority, and so I would respect that authority that's vested in you.
Sure. To be clear, I think you're a fantastic candidate.
Thank you.
I don't want that confusing. Believe you're in for council also, so good luck. And again, I think you'd be a fantastic candidate. We're excited to have more residents stepping up, right?
Sure. Do you have any other questions about that?
I don't at this time. Thank you.
Sure. I think it's unfortunate that some of the candidates weren't able to come and speak.
I do too.
I read or I listened to some of the emails that were written back and forth. I don't really follow a lot of what's happened in the past. I will comment and say that it's unfortunate that we have people who are very outspoken against certain people in the city. Ferrysburg, to my knowledge, we're about 3,000 people. I don't think it's worthwhile to yell at people or call people names. I think that you have something special here. The things that were said about the BLP, I'm in complete agreement. Ferrysburg needs to hold it together. You're a great city. That's why I moved back. I've lived all around the country. I have a remote job. I don't need to live here, but it's somewhere that I felt really strongly I wanted to raise. So I just wanted that to be known.
Thank you.
Thanks for your consideration.
Any further?
Your Honor, it's just unfortunate that we've got the Jake Sturley problem that we've had, and it needs to be addressed.
It has been addressed.
Well, it needs to be continuing addressed.
Yeah,
We can't move forward until that's taken care of.
I think Dave is a good candidate. I think he'd be an excellent candidate. I have too many questions that I'd like to ask the mayor, and he's not here to answer them.
I can answer. I'd probably answer the questions if you got them. But
Yeah,
the mayor and
I
I
don't know
discussed
that.
these.
I don't know that I'm comfortable
keep
talking,
on-
having you speak on the mayor's behalf.
That's my job as the mayor pro tem, is to speak for the mayor
Sure.
when he's not available. So I can answer your questions. Sure.
This has been open for a while. I don't think it'll hurt to push another meeting so that the mayor can speak to it.
Okay, I know it's not gonna change.
That's fine, but
Okay.
I'd still have questions.
Okay. It would be improper, and I think, you know, I don't understand what needs to be addressed, because we need to select the best person for the job. And
Why was Dave not selected before?
The planning commission is an advisory board to the council. We don't have to take the recommendation. And in the past, there's been other items we have not taken their recommendations. We sent it back and said, no, we need more information. We need you to rework this. And I think that by not following the law, the statutory requirements, that would be considered improper. It'd be could be even construed as misconduct in office. When you're looking at hiring for a job, you always look for the best person qualified. And to select somebody simply because they're your friend and they don't have all the qualifications, that could possibly be looked upon as nepotism. That's what the federal government does all the time. They award people because somebody gives you a lot of money, we'll put you in this position. And again, we're looking at the master plan. Last year's recommendation for Jake Sturley, that was addressed in August of 2022. And so that's I consider it a dead issue. This is a brand new issue. And again, we need to select the best person for the job. Somebody who is eminently qualified for the position. So, and I can tell you right now, the mayor will not select somebody just because. he cares about the city. He cares about making the best decisions for the city, as do I. And I go by the law, and I wish I could share some things that I know, but I can't. I'm prohibited. I got an email right here from Jake Sturley. I'm not going to share it with the public. But again, Dave Cook is more than qualified with a degree in land, dealing with land use. He's perfect for the job.
Your Honor,
So,
this has nothing to do with who's a friend with who or who is in whose group or whatever. And I just feel that Dave is put in the middle of this because the Planning Commission voted on Jake Sterling and unanimously approved him. We voted on Jake Sterling and nominated him. The mayor decided to veto that, and he did. But as far as the council was concerned, Jake Sterling was still our candidate. And if he had been nominated, this would not be a dead issue because he would still be filling his term today. So, and he's reapplied, so it's not a dead issue. And don't say it's a dead issue, it was dealt with, because we're just dealing with it now. Again, it's just resurfacing. And it's gonna keep resurfacing until, we either have a new mayor or reach an agreement on this. Because as far as I'm concerned, Jake Sturley is still our candidate and who we voted on and nominated.
So then we just need to table this other position.
And I'm not saying Dave is well qualified, and I feel bad that he's put in the middle and that this position he's put in. But Dave, before you applied for this position, we had already voted on Jake Sturley to be nominated, and the mayor turned us down. And then the next month, we got a slew of more applications after the council had already voted for Jake Sturley. And now we're reliving it again. It's coming back up again. So, and with this being a mayor appointment, I think the mayor should be here to discuss these positions. I don't think this should be something that the mayor shouldn't take part of. This is his appointment. So, and I realize you're the pro temp, and I give you that respect, but these are important positions, and I think the mayor should be here to appoint these folks and answer questions that are important to all council members and probably a lot of citizens as well. So I would make a motion we don't have a motion on the table right now, so I'd like to make a motion that we table all planning commission approvals until next meeting when the mayor's here.
one thing before we vote on it. Have you seen Jake's qualifications?
I believe Jake has a degree in planning. Yeah.
Okay.
Your Honor, so the motion is to table all planning commission appointments. One appointment's already been made for the night. So we're tabling the remaining 2 planning commission applications? Okay.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed. Tabled. And the item J, ZBA, appointment of Stanley Stark to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the member ending July 1st, 2026. I support that motion. For his appointment.
I'll support it, just the open discussion.
Second. Support. Seconded. Discussion.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I think you'd probably be a good candidate. Craig, you mind if I ask Craig a question?
Mhm.
Craig, is there any issues with the residency? Is there a residency requirement for boards?
Resident or voter of the city.
But there's not a time period?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, nay. All right. Recreation Committee. Approval of mayor's appointment of Rebecca Hopp to the Recreation Committee for the term ending 2026. I do have a letter from her.
This be mayor's appointment, Your Honor?
This is, no. This is, the only mayor's appointment are the ZBA and the,
Right, so can we,
this is, well, yes, this is the mayor's appointment. Yes. Rebecca Hopp, she is serving with the, in Lansing, with the Girls State. She says, has a letter here. Dear Mayor, council members, my name is Rebecca Hopp. I am tonight's agenda for consideration of reappointment to the Recreation Commission and for the newly created Brownfield Development EDC. I am unable to attend tonight's meeting due to the fact that I'm serving on the government staff for Girls State at Michigan State University this week. I've been very active with the Rec Commission since 2009. As mayor, I initiated several community engagement opportunities through the Rec Commission Community Playground Build, Tree City USA, the Tree Board, community planning provided by the Relief Davy Research. I also have extensive experience and knowledge of ADA compliance trainings through MDOT and served as admin assistant with $15 million W.K. Kellogg Universal Accessibility Grant. Additionally, I am seeking reappointment to the BRA and EDC Board. I currently serve as Ferrysburg BRA and serve as Vice Chair to Ottawa County's BRA EDC Board. As Mayor, I served in Ferrysburg Task Force and created a training opportunity for board members and business leaders to learn more about brownfields and tax incentive opportunities. I look forward to continuing work and help create new initiatives and opportunities for the community members, business owners, and visitors.
The city code spells out that the boards and commissions are appointed by the mayor, members.
Court? Put it on unanimously by the Rec Commission to be reappointed. Is that correct? Yes. No, I need a motion. We vote on it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion failed. Approve the mayor's appointment of Jordan Weber to the Recreation Committee for the term ending July 1st, 2026.
Support.
Support, discussion?
Will, was the, you guys vote on, Jordan?
Jordan's been pretty instrumental in coordinating our food truck events for the city and bringing that recognition to specifically William Ferry Park. He's been doing a great job.
Aye.
Okay, appointment of Carol Sanchez, alternate member to KLH Reserve Board, term ending July 1st, 2026.
Skip one?
Sure. Okay, sorry. Approve the mayor's appointment of Janet Brian, as a regular member of the Kitchell KLH Dunes Board, term ending July 1st. This is a reappointment. Support. Motion, support. Second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Now, okay. Approve the mayor's appointment of Carol Sanchez, the alternate board member of the KLH Dunes, term ending July 1st, 2026. This is a new app. You have a motion, support? All right, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Going on to L, approve the appointment of Tim Scarpino to the BRA Board, the term ending January 1st, 2026. Reappointment. And actually, this is a new board, right, Craig? With that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this would be their original appointment.
That's correct.
Okay,
Make a motion, Your Honor.
got a motion? Support. Motion, support? Yep. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Okay, motion passed. Approve the appointment of Rebecca Hopp to the BRA EDC Board for term ending January 1st, 2026.
I'll make a motion to support.
Okay, we got a motion. Support, well, discussion. Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The approval of the appointment of John Rifle to the BRD EDC Board ending January 1st, 2024.
Support.
Okay, got a motion, support, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approve the appointment of Ryan Weber to the Brownfield Development Authority Board, term ending January 1st, 2025.
I'll make a motion to support.
Motion, support, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approve the appointment of Roger Jonas to the BRA EDC Board for term ending January 1st, 2025.
Make a motion to support.
Motion, support, discussion. No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Approve the appointment of Gary Post to the Community Energy Steering Committee for a term ending, and this is also a new committee. For a term ending July 1st, 2026.
Support.
Motion, support, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Approve the appointment of Nicholas Petangello to the Community Energy Steering Committee term ending July 1st, 2026. So moved. Motion, support, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
I think we skipped one, Q, Terry Gordon match to the Coast Guard Festival.
Oh, yes. All right, going back to Q. Approve the appointment of Terry Grodemat to the Coast Guard Festival Committee for a term ending July 1st, 2026. Motion, support, discussion. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Approve the appointment of Matt Hoppel to the Board of Review for the term ending January 1st, 2027. This is item T. We have a motion. And support. And Greg, does he have his certification yet? Or he's working on it? Okay. So we got a motion, support, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Let's see, U. Discussion, take action if appropriate to approve 2022-23 budget amendments. And I don't, oh, you got it right there. Okay.
On fiscal year, we're going to do a few budget amendments just to make sure that we don't go over budget in some of the departments. We're getting pretty close on administration. Supplies went a little bit over budget, so we want to increase that line item by $10,000. The second one is the spring fall cleanup. We haven't got the bill for that. Get a little nervous on how much that's going to come in, so I want to increase that by $5,000. And then maintenance in the parks, we've been doing some extra work out there, so we want to increase that by $15,000. So we got $30,000 increase in expenses, and to keep the fund balance, we want to decrease contingencies by that $30,000 so we'll remain in balance. The second item is the Dogwood Drive project went over. We added that bike path to the project, so we went over budget on that. So we want to add $35,000 to that line item. And to balance the budget, we'll take $10,000 from the material street maintenance and from contractor services, so we'll remain in budget and the major street fund. Next fund is the building improvement fund, our building fund. Building permits, we had a nice year so far this year. We want to increase that by $20,000 line item. When you have more permits, you're going to have more administration and more inspections, so we want to increase administration by $10,000 and the electrical and mechanical inspector's salary by $5,000, and that will take care of the $20,000 and will remain in balance in that fund. The other item we want to look at, it's not a budget amendment, it's just a correction. When we put the budget together, we put the Dogwood Drive project under 540. 202-00540. The show went into 539, and then when the budget was put together, we put the money in for the bike path bond. It went to the wrong account, 965-245. It should have went to the account ending 301. So these are not budget amendments, just for your information. We're making those changes. That's all I have.
There a motion for support of the budget amendments, and we'll just do the corrections as well. Very motion for support.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendments.
Support.
Discussion? No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Okay, V. Discussion to take action, if appropriate, to cancel the Monday, July 3rd, 2023 City Council meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion?
Support.
Support. Greg, do we have anything pressing that needs to be covered between now and a month from now?
The only thing would be the outdoor dining. The owner of Pine Street Cafe is really anxious to get going. Putting him back till July 17th would be the soonest he could start. A couple days after that, if City Council adopt the ordinance, it becomes effective upon publication. So that puts him towards about the end of the third week in July, which is, cutting into the summer business if it happens. So if City Council was willing, we could schedule a special meeting next Monday to cover this, or we could keep the meeting on July 3 and just have the one item.
I'm good with the special meeting. I think this is important for him as a business owner.
Just as a side note, the mayor, I mentioned this to the mayor, and he thought that we could just keep the July 17th meeting.
Okay
What-
with a special meeting.
Can we include that in? Can I amend my motion, Craig? Is that proper? What do I need to do to get a meeting next Monday?
Schedule a special meeting and then, leave kind of open in case something else comes up, we can throw it on there real fast. The agenda.
All right, we have a motion, support, discussion. Yes.
Craig, since we're putting off the balance of those appointments for planning, under statute, do we have to have that done by July 1st, or can we stretch that out?
So the existing terms will expire July 1st.
Okay.
So if we don't have a new appointment on by July 1st, that position is going to be vacant until it gets appointed.
Support. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passed. Consideration for adjournment to a closed session to consider the purchase of land or lease of real property prior to obtaining an option to purchase. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember
Yes.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Yes.
Councilmember Sias.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch. Mayor Pro Tem O'Donnell.
Yes. At this time, the meeting will be closed to the public. You're more than happy to have you come back when we come back into session after we have this discussion. Meeting is closed. Yeah.
Are you staying, Roger? I'm just asking. I was going to offer bring a chair out for you. Okay.
Thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. Thank you.
Are we done with sound and video now?
We can be.